Hello, my friends. Welcome once again to Faith Walk 101. We are so glad that you could join us. Well, if you attended a church service this weekend, then you should have received a message that is of first importance. You know, Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15, chapter 3, what he has received, this message that he has received of Christ's resurrection is of first importance. This isn't the number one thing. This is what our faith stands on, is this resurrection of Jesus coming back to life, conquering death. I know that over time, the resurrection for many is no longer of first importance. You know, it's become more about the party than anything else, with no mention of the resurrection a lot of times. This is really unfortunate. But as we see, as we celebrate these holidays, that is more and more about the gathering, the coming together, all the food that we have. And it's very little sometimes, or even no mention at all, about the meaning of why we do some of the things we do. But this is very important, this resurrection. Remember what Paul said. This is of first importance. This is the first thing, the resurrection. This is not all about all this other stuff that we have made important and the adding on of the resurrection if we feel like it's not going to inconvenience our lives or the conversation. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the resurrection, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is not a pleasant subject for a lot of people. We like the parties, we like to feel good, we like to have our stomachs full, and the conversation about some of the things that we're going to do. And yes, those things are fine. But remember what Paul says. This is of first importance, the resurrection, that Jesus conquering death on the cross. So 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 1, Paul says, I want to remind you of the gospel. See, he wants to remind us of the gospel. First and foremost, wants us to be mindful of why we're celebrating the death of Christ and the resurrection. So he says, what you've received, when you received it, and I've taken a stand on it. So he says, we've received it. We've gotten this message. Like I said earlier, if you attended a church service, then you should have received this message of very important. And this is the message of Jesus Christ, the resurrection. So he says, if you have received it, then, he says, I want you to take a stand on it. We should take a stand on the resurrection, that Jesus conquered death, that he is alive, and that he now lives in us. We're not going to let anything, any kind of celebration, replace the importance of Jesus conquering death at the cross. And it would be such of a benefit when we came together that we would just be mindful of that. Yes, it's great to have fellowship with family and friends and just eat all sorts of things, food and the desserts, and just being able to spend time with people that we haven't seen in a while. But Paul says, I want to remind you of the gospel. This is of first importance, and I want you to take a stand on it. Don't get distracted from all these other things. So let's not let this world dilute the meaning of the gospel. And sometimes we can do that because the world sees this resurrection, especially the death on the cross, as being very ugly, not very pleasant or pretty thing. Well, why would we celebrate it? Well, we celebrate what Jesus has done for the world. You know, now he's conquered death, and it gives us this door into eternal life. He's paid the sin for us. We don't want the world to dilute the meaning of this celebration. So, you know, we celebrated all weekend. We've got together with family. So now we want to be able to apply these things to our lives. We want to be able to ponder and to take a stand on what we believe. And to remember what Paul says, I want to remind you of the gospel. We should be constantly mindful of the power that the cross had when Christ conquered death. So he says, I want to remind you. So let's not play and pretend like a lot of people are doing. The resurrection is the gospel and the foundation of our faith. This is of first importance, and we should not ever waver from that. I hope this message has been encouraging to you, my friends, and continue to join us on Faith Walk 101. Thank you.